Hey YouTube, what's happening? I'm Rell2G. Welcome you to my picks and prediction for Week 17. Final games of the 2012 NFL season here this upcoming Sunday. I thank you guys very much for participating and seeing my picks and predictions for 2012. A great season, better than last, and hope to see you then next year for more great picks and prediction for the NFL season. So with that, let's get with our picks for Week 17 in the NFL. 13-3 were my record last week, so I am not complaining about that. I finished the season with a winning record. I'll post my final records at the bottom of this description box, so check it out. Almost at one perfect week, but I want to get a perfect week for the final games in Week 17, so here we go with my picks. Sunday, everybody is playing early, middle games, and night, with the big one with the Redskins and Cowboys soon to come. First, we got the Ravens at the Bengals. Joe Flacco, he might start. I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't. If the Ravens win, they will be the third seed in the AFC division. The Bengals clinching a playoff spot last week. I have to beat the Ravens at home, believe it or not. Andy Dalton and company may make this a 3-point win for the Bengals in Cincinnati on Sunday. Panthers and Saints, Cam Newton on a winning roll at this point. It's not going to make a difference, but they have a better record than they did last season at 6-9. Could be 7-9. Hey, we have to wait and see. Saints could be an 8-8 team this season, even without the coaching of Sean Payton, but Drew Brees is not going to go quiet. He'll probably pass for another touchdown in his consecutive games. Saints will beat out the Panthers in New Orleans. Jaguars and Titans. The Jaguars will get the first pick in the 2013 NFL Draft. Titans, not a better season, but it could have been a lot more bad. Titans 5-10. I got winning this game against the Jaguars. Buccaneers and Falcons in Atlanta. Will Matt Ryan get the game call, even though they do have home field advantage throughout the playoffs, and they have a first round bye? So I would probably run him a little bit without getting anybody injured or whatever. If not, they'll probably get their second and third strings to go against the game. But I'm going to go with the Buccaneers in Atlanta in a shocker to beat the Falcons. I don't know why I picked Tampa Bay, but if Matt Ryan don't play, the Buccaneers will win this game. Eagles and Giants. Eagles trying to take the pride away from the Giants and keep them out of the playoffs because, of course, the Giants were beaten by the Eagles back in Philadelphia. Eli Manning going to try to rebound from his devastating loss to the Ravens last week. Michael Vick will start for Philadelphia because Nick Foles broke his throwing hand against the Redskins last week, and Vick will get the call and what could be his final game as quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles, and Andy Reid, who could be coaching for the Philadelphia Eagles for the last time. I'm going to have the Giants to beat the Eagles to clinch a spot in the playoffs with the win. Jets and Bills. Mark Sanchez, who was benched for Greg McElroy suffered a concussion, so he's back starting again. More likely will be his final game in a Jets uniform. They're going against the Bills, who had a very tough season, but they could still end up 6-10 with the win. I'm going to go with the Bills at home to beat the Jets in Buffalo. Texans and Colts. Meanwhile, the Texans getting blown out by the Vikings last week, and the Colts winning to get a playoff spot in the AFC wildcard. I'm going to go with the Colts to win this emotional game because Chuck Pagano, who is the coach for the Indianapolis Colts, will be on the sidelines in that game. So I'm going to go with the Colts to beat the Texans in Indy. Browns and Steelers, Ben Roethlisberger and company will be the outsiders looking in the windows of other AFC contenders in the playoffs this season after they lost the Bengals. Browns, a better team they were this season. last season, I'm going to go with the Steelers to win their final game in Pittsburgh this season with a win against the Browns. Bears and Lions. Bears win. They could be in with a wild card spot. Now the Lions, Calvin Johnson, who broke Jerry Rice's record last week for receptions as a wide receiver, could play spoiler for the Bears, but I'm going to go with Chicago and the Thriller to beat the Lions at Ford Field. Packers and Vikings. Now this game is intense. Packers will likely be the number 2 seed in the NFC. Vikings trying to get into the playoffs with this win. And if they don't win, then they'll just have to see themselves waiting for next season. Adrian Peterson is very close to getting towards Tony Dickerson. It's going to be interesting to see how well they play him in Minnesota. I'm going to get the Packers because Aaron Rodgers is just totally dominating the quarterback ratings in the NFC. I have the Green Bay Packers to beat the Vikings in Minnesota. Dolphins and Patriots. The Patriots are likely going to be the number 2 seed in the AFC, and the Dolphins trying to get that 8-8 record themselves. Better team this season than last. I'm going to go with the Patriots at home to beat Miami. Cardinals and 49ers. Down season for the Cardinals. Great season for the 49ers with Colin Kaepernick going to be quarterback again. Alex Smith will likely be playing elsewhere for another team next year, but I'm going to go with the home team, 49ers, to beat the Cardinals. Rams and Seahawks. Rams, a better team this season than last. Of course, with the coaching of Jeff Fisher, I see the Rams going 7-8 with their one tie. Seahawks, too dangerous right now in the NFC. I'm going to have them to beat the Rams in a blowout in Seattle. Raiders and Chargers. Chargers, I have winning this game. The Raiders just not a very good football team at all. North Turner is likely going to be coaching for the Chargers in his final game at home. And Phillip Rivers, interesting to see what happens with him during the offseason. I got the Chargers at home to beat the Raiders. Chiefs and Broncos. Broncos are on the road. Chiefs, they too will probably be picking number 2 in the in the 2013 NFL Draft. I'm going to go with the Broncos. Even if Peyton Manning does not start, will beat the Chiefs in Denver. The big game, the NFC East division is on the line. Cowboys and Redskins. Both teams, one of them wins. One is going to be champs, while the other is likely to maybe go home, depending on what the Giants do. Cowboys losing to the Redskins on Thanksgiving, but the Redskins are riding high on their winning streak. I'm going to go with the Redskins in a thriller to beat the Cowboys and solidify themselves as the number 4 seed in the NFC and win for the division for the Washington Redskins. This is a great team. Robert Griffin III, I truly give kudos to everything that he does, even though he got injured in week 15, didn't play in week 6, got injured in week 14, didn't play in 15, but he did play against the Eagles last week. He may not be as fast as he was at the start, but he still could be dangerous in the playoffs. So, hey, Redskins will beat the Cowboys in a thriller in Washington at FedEx Field on Sunday night. There are my picks for 2012 final games of the regular season. Come back next week. Next Friday night, I'll give you my picks and predictions for the divisional wildcard games, which is set for next Saturday and Sunday. From my family to yours, all of the YouTube, I want to wish you a great 2013 and a prosperous one at that. And come back next week. I'll give you my picks on who is going to be most valuable player and even rookie of the year. My top 5 picks for rookie of the year and top 5 picks for most valuable player. I'm Rell2G. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next week. Till then.